The sound of gunfire, missiles flying like fireflies in the sky, soldiers marching to defend borders, generals dictating tactics. That's how we think of wars. That's how countries have fought for generations. But what if I told you that everything is about to change? Modern day wars will be about controlling people's minds, quite literally. And China is making weapons that control minds. I know, it's hard to believe, but it is true. China is building such weapons. It is also building biological warfare capabilities. It is conducting influence campaigns. Basically, Beijing is waging unconventional wars. It is using every tool in the kit to weaken other nation states. What are these tools? Who are the targets? And what can the world do to stop China? On Gravitas tonight, that's what we'll discuss. First, let's tell you about these brain-controlled weapons. What are they? And how did China think of making them? After all, the Chinese are not really known for innovation. Copying is more like their style. So how did they come up with this one? Well, here is the story. The United States has an export blacklist. It's a list of companies to which American businesses cannot export. An export blacklist. Yesterday, the US updated this list. They added 12 names, 12 research institutes. One of them is the Academy of Military Medical Sciences. This is China's top military medical research institute. You could call it the PLA's own science lab. Why has it been blacklisted? Apparently, they conducted a sinister experiment. This institute was helping the Chinese military develop what they call brain-controlled weapons. So I come back to the question, what really is a brain-controlled weapon? Unfortunately, the statement from the United States does not answer that question, but we have some clues to connect the dots. According to one report, China has been exploring ways to weaponize biotechnology. They're looking into 3 areas specifically: gene editing, human performance enhancement, and brain-machine interfaces. Now, all of these technologies have one clear military application, which is creating super soldiers. So far, this idea was limited to superhero movies like the Avengers, humans given superhuman powers and capabilities. But Beijing now wants to make them a reality. 1 year back, a member of the Trump administration wrote this, and I'm quoting, "US intelligence shows that China has even conducted human testing on members of the People's Liberation Army in the hope of developing soldiers with biologically enhanced capabilities." What this means is that China is building super soldiers. It is conducting human trials on soldiers and not even trying to hide this. 3 years ago, a paper was published in China. Reports say it was written by PLA neuroscientists. The title is self-explanatory: Military Brain Science, How to Influence Future Wars. 3 years back, America has finally woken up to the threat. It has barred its companies from exporting American technology to Chinese institutions. How is China responding? Listen to this.
The United States has overstretched the concept of national security and fabricates all kinds of excuses to abuse export controls, to reasonably suppress Chinese institutions and firms. It has reached a stage where they stop at nothing.
We don't know how effective this measure is, or if China can really breed super soldiers. But there's a good chance that they already have bioweapons in their arsenal. Despite their suspension, China maintains a biological weapons program. Allow me to quote from an assessment from the US Department of Defense. This is what it says. The PRC has engaged in biological activities with potential dual-use applications which raise concerns regarding its compliance with the Biological and Toxins Weapons Convention and the Chemical Weapons Convention. China also has the capability of developing really advanced bioweapons. Let me show you a report about China's National Gene Bank database. It is one of the world's largest repositories of genetic information. What can Beijing do with this? Going by one claim, it can be used to engineer precision bioweapons. And that is why what I'm going to tell you next should not come as a surprise. The PLA recently conducted nuclear, chemical, and biological warfare drills in Tibet. It happened in Tibet in November. Beijing won't tell exactly where or when. The PLA describes this as a quote-unquote real combat drill, something that's meant to prepare its forces for a biological attack. An attack from where? India? Perhaps the PLA should check its own arsenal first. The point of this report is quite simple. Put all of these inputs together and you get the big picture. The nature of warfare is changing and China wants to take the lead to control your mind, to win future wars. Through brain control weapons and through propaganda, they want to take control. You already know about their information wars. China may not be on Western internet platforms, but it certainly knows how to leverage them. Earlier this year, a report exposed a Chinese influential campaign. 350 fake accounts were uncovered. They were spread out across platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What was the purpose? To spread pro-China narratives. Such accounts are often suspended, but Beijing wastes no time in rebuilding these disinformation networks. And they only get bigger with time. Just this month, more than 2,000 Twitter accounts were discovered. They were linked to the Chinese state. Twitter took them down, but not before they'd sent out more than 30,000 tweets. Yes, these accounts do not get a lot of engagement, but the Chinese state is persistent. It has managed to bypass sanctions. It has managed to escape the scrutiny of global watchdogs and to avoid any bans. What does that tell you? Sanctions or bans are ineffective when you're dealing with an adversary like China. Beijing never plays by the rules. Throwing the rule book at China never works. What the world needs now is a coordinated approach. And our next story might give our world leaders some ideas for that. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.